retro slap, niche, LARPing, alternative. What do all of these words have in common? They're all used to seek attention. Now, here on the Wildman YouTube channel, everything is niche as long as we are below 1000 subscribers. So today, we will actually be exploring games with 0 players that are actually good. Unlike every other video on this topic where they explore quote-unquote niche dead games, where they're not actually niche or unheard. They're popular games that aren't like front page popular, but they always got like 100 to 2000 players, and yeah, it's not legit. So here, we're gonna talk about 4 actually dead games that you can actually play and have fun. Before we get into it, we are nearing 1000 subscribers, so please subscribe. There's a surprise for 1000 subscribers. Let's go. This game is pretty unknown, with it only having 219,000 visits. NSTR, being short for New Secret Thing, remastered. It's basically just a fighting game. You could argue it's pretty basic, but it's niche. So let me defend it real quick. There's a lot of weapons to play around with, and they got unique combos and stuff like that. And what's cool is it's not only weapons, but a big part of it is this thing called magic. So you got abilities and stuff basically. Every weapon has like 3 abilities. You can dash, run, and double jump. And magic has like 2 attacks. You can block weapon and magic attacks separately. And there's different keybinds. So there is like a skill level to this. And that's just the service for the game. If you want to know how to play it, there's a good tutorial available once you join the game. I really recommend it. I also love that there's so many combos and fighting tricks you could possibly do. It's just really impressive for such an underground game. I'm not a big fighting game guy. I've never really played that much games, even though I do plan on posting some fighting games. I find the fighting really good and underrated. The animations are clean and simple, you know, R6, they're not overly flashy or something, and they're not bare bones either. It's a perfect simple mix and it just works. I feel a lot of clarity in terms of the mechanics. What I mean is, you can tell when you hit, you can tell when you get hit, and you don't blame delays in the animations and stuff like that. Usually if you die or get hit, it's your fault, and I absolutely love that in game design. Since it's 0 players, you can make it like your own turf, and once you get good with a friend, you can invite some more people, etc., and have it be your own little friend circle main game thing. But I digress. Now, why it's probably dead is because there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of fighting games out there. And yes, if we do compare it to the big ones, it is a bit simpler, not as flashy, not as many things to do. But still, I think it's a great game. That's why I put it on the list. I don't really know the full history of it. I don't know if it used to have a lot of players, but it probably did have quite a bit of players. Maybe like 20, 30 concurrent players. Until it eventually kind of died down. As most games do, you know, when they don't really receive that many updates and stuff like that. But not all games on the list have a normal dying cycle. Some of them are more dramatic, like the next one. Alright, this next game is called Resurrections. And it's an interesting one to say the least. This is basically just COD Zombies. Yeah, there's not much else to say. Now, there's 2 made COD zombie ripoffs on Roblox. First you got Project Lazarus, the OG. It is pretty dated, the models and everything are very simple, including the AI and stuff. And then you got Michael Zombies, which is newer, being published in 2022. Blah blah blah, you know, there's just more newer things. Now the difference between these 2 games is mainly their age, right? Lazarus is like 2016, I think, and then Michael Zombies 2022. But then Resurrections comes as the middle child, being made in 2019. And this creates a little thing of why did this game die? Before I answer that stuff, let me talk about the gameplay. This is the closest ripoff or recreation of Call of Duty Zombies. It really tries to recreate the movement in just a gameplay loop, but what sets it different from Project Lazarus and Michael Zombies is that it's really hard, and I mean pretty difficult. Like, I mean, I didn't play Zombies in my prime, but as someone with thousands of hours on FPS games, I'm struggling. And it's not the aim aspect, you don't need good aim, it's really about managing your ammo and counting the hits. They just swarm you very quickly and you don't have a lot of time to prepare. I did some tries and I died pretty quickly. Either I don't know how to play zombies and I suck, or my theory is correct that it's difficult. The only other video on this game made by Bredian, it said it's the most difficult COD ripoff in its title. So why did it probably die? Well, first thing is the difficulty, we already talked about it. But if you want to make a Roblox game work in terms of players, you need all types of players to play. Mobile, stuff like that. And on mobile, I'm guessing that, this type of difficulty is very difficult. That doesn't mean to make the game a baby playground, but to have some variety at least, maybe like easier game modes, etc. So yeah, the first thing is the difficulty. The second thing, which is the main one, is the dev kind of abandoning it. In its current state, it's quite buggy and it feels off. I don't know when the shots register and it's kind of messy. There's just this kind of delay in your shots and it kind of feels spaghetti coated. That's kind of the best way I can describe it. I'm starting to see a pattern. Almost every game on the list is a pretty close recreation of the actual real counterpart, kind of like a ripoff. I noticed that the games that do get popular, they have inspirations or heavy inspirations, from the original game, but they kind of fit it into a Roblox audience. So like having microtransactions, making it like easier, and gambling, the list goes on. Meanwhile, the games that kind of die, they just kind of try to recreate the game when you can just like play the real game, I guess. So yeah, based off of these things, it's understandable why the game never had a concurrent player count. It did get 3 million visits, which is pretty good though. I would say it's pretty niche. Alright, the next game. This one, I'll be honest, if you've spent around time in a niche area of Roblox, you've maybe heard of it. The title of the video is Dead Games, not games that had under 10 million visits. And what I'm talking about is... Now, the game can be summed up in 2 words. Super Smash Bros. In Roblox. Reading in the description, it says, Project Gaming is a platform fighter experience with a cast of custom and crossover characters from other Roblox games. For the gameplay, it's a pretty fast-paced game. If you've ever played Smash Bros. Or Brawlhalla, the movement will be really familiar to you probably. There's tons of special attacks and abilities, and that's where we get into the characters. Moreover, the crossovers. There's 4 fighters in the game, 2 of which are crossovers from Roblox. For example, the fighter Battle Border comes from the very hit game Battle Boards. In all seriousness, Battle Boards is a really fun game and I wanted to put it on the list since it's also a dead niche game. And I find it funny that it's a part of another dead niche game. So yeah, honorable mention of the video is Battle Borders, I guess. Y'all should play it. Then the second fighter is Gear Master. Instead of him being from a specific game, it's a character that has a lot of the gears from Roblox, kind of classic Roblox themselves. Which is pretty epic since it's kind of a throwback to Gears back when they worked. Something you don't see often because they're all broken now. The other 2 fighters are original though, and they sadly never added more fighters than that. And so then you get the stages. In total there's 5, which 4 of them are crossovers from other games, at least to my knowledge. You got sword fights on the heist, which is from Roblox again. Then there's Tempo, which based heavily off the Smash Bros map. I don't think this is a crossover, more like a rip-off, but it counts. And then Battle Boards. The map is just a battle board from Battle Boards. There's not much else to say. As an idea, like the game as an idea, it's epic as hell. You got characters from Roblox games with their lore, and you get to play them. It's very ambitious, and I just gotta say the gameplay, like I played this like yesterday. It was absolutely amazing, fun. The game still works perfectly fine. Like it's ultimately very fun. The abilities are very fun. Like I would really recommend you to play it with a friend if you are into kind of platformer fighting games and stuff like that. But ultimately, why I died was I'm pretty sure that dev decided to move on to another project, which was like different and stuff. But and other than the 4 characters, there was none more added. And so with having only 4 characters, the game got stale pretty quickly. Even though there is a shop, which is pretty cool, there wasn't much else to do. You could grind coins, but once you get the skins you want, that's pretty much it. Ultimately coming to its downfall, just because there's not a lot to do. But it is very good, and yeah, again, it's like what I notice, most games die because the dev kinda let it go. There's not much updates, there's not a lot to do in the game. It may be really good, but at the end of the day, if you get bored in like a couple hours, there's not much else to do. So I've saved my favorite for last, which is Gunrunner is made by the same developer as Decaying Winter. It's a project made in 8.5 hours, which is fast-paced, inspired by Hotline Miami combat. Why I'm saying this is the best one, at least in my opinion, is because it's genuinely super fun. It was the most fun I've had playing these games and recording them.
Oh no! Wait, what? Oh, I think I have an. Okay, chill out.
And it only got 100k visits, and it's been dead for a while. The fast gameplay is just loads of fun with friends. Honestly, it's just hella chill and simple. It's nothing too complicated to talk about. You got like 6 different abilities which you can use anytime you spawn, which are either from nothing. You got Brass Knuckles, which is lethal fist with no weapon pickup. You got Old Detective Badge, which you gain 10 HP with. You get a Zebra Tail, which you can dodge, roll. You got Throwing Knives, which, you know, you can throw knives. Then there's Snake Heart, which allows you to throw your weapon and it becomes lethal. What I really like is they're not really game changing. They mostly change your playstyle, but it will never shock your opponents or something like that. And most of the guns are from Decaying Winter, but they're really fun to shoot, and the sound design is like really great. I know the assets are kind of recycled, but still I think it's like super fun gameplay and like the music and everything. So if this game is so good, why is it dead? It being an 8-hour project using old assets can't get you that far, especially since there's no real updates. Look, at the end of the day, it's just a little fun project. There's nothing to grind for, no stats, no skins, no gameplay loop really. After 10 minutes it gets quite stale because there's only so much things you can do. And so the people that played it, after a while, you know, maybe there was like a couple of concurrent players, got bored and moved on. This game doesn't have a sad death story, you know, there was no abandoning, no drama. But it shouldn't have that, because it was never meant to have a player base in the first place. And that's why I feel like it's so beautiful to visit it. When you join, you can tell it doesn't try to sell you something. It doesn't feel empty. It doesn't try to retain your attention. It's just a fun game. In the lobby, you can see characters that are like from the dev team, and I just like it. There's zero UI on the sides. It's very pure, and yeah, I just really like it. A lot of popular games, you know, they have this vision, so-called vision, where they want to be, you know, this big project, and the game always feels kind of empty. Even if you're only like 2 people in the game, it's very fun, man. It's very fun. And I feel like this phenomenon of maybe emptiness is another video I want to actually make. It's for real this time. Like, the next video is gonna be about a game that's very dear to my heart, and you know, I really want to take my time to talk about it and all of its things, and it's gonna be kind of a retrospective, I guess. And yeah, I think these type of games, you know, I don't know what it is. Is it the emptiness and stuff? It's kind of crazy. But yeah, guys, if you've enjoyed this video, you know, hit the subscribe button, and yeah, see y'all in the next one.